Hello, I'm Dennis. I'm an Ovate of the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. I bid you welcome to my channel where I talk about Druidry, nature and magic. In this video I'd like to talk to you about what I think the modern Druids do and maybe even more importantly what they don't do. I think to emphasize that I don't speak on behalf of all Druids. You see, the words Druids and Druidry may fascinate, yet also confuse and even mislead people. Some people would expect you to represent a certain image of the Druid, say an old man with a long beard, wearing a white robe, cutting down the mistletoe with a golden sickle. And if you don't fit that image, you can't claim to be a real Druid. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but only to make my point clear that there are a lot of misinterpretations and misconceptions about the modern Druids and Druidry. So I suggest that we go for a walk and discuss this important matter.
There are many good resources where you can find out more about what the modern Druids do. See the links in the description. I don't want to retell that information. Instead, I want to share with you some of my own thoughts on the subject. As modern Druids, we seek wisdom, knowledge and understanding. The etymology of the word Druid is connected to the following keywords: strong, seer, truth, tree, especially oak, and know. If I say that the Druid is a strong seer, the one who knows the secrets of the oak, a sage of the forest, it won't be wrong. But the problem here would be the fact that, let's call it Druid wisdom, has significantly evolved throughout history. The wisdom of the ancient Druids in the society of the Celts in Iron Age Europe was very different from that of the modern Druids of the 21st century. But the goal remains the same. We still seek knowledge and understanding. We learn, study, explore and do our own research. We make mistakes and we learn from them. We build our foundation in good science and scholarship because only good science makes good spirituality. I know that you may object to this statement by saying that there is no such thing as good science, there is only science. The same about spirituality, I would agree. But reality is more complex. People often want to see the world the way they want it to be. To prove their point of view, they tend to draw on bad science because it's easier. I know what I'm talking about because I have an academic background. I have spent many years of my life learning how to distinguish good science and scholarship from the bad ones. As modern Druids, we don't want to mess up with bad science. We want the best kind of science to be our ally. We call ourselves modern Druids because we are inspired by the Celtic tradition. It is no coincidence that we choose to go this way. Frankly, we know very little about what the ancient Druids were really up to. It pushes us towards interpretation and reconstruction. At the same time, we have a lot of texts from the Celtic Middle Ages, from which we can learn about the mythology and the lore. As modern Druids, we're fortunate to have such a rich library of the Celtic texts to draw our inspiration from. We study Celtic culture, and it's huge, and it's not one. That's why we often choose just one tradition to study, for example Irish or Welsh, whichever inspires us, and try to learn more about it. We read and contemplate Celtic myths and legends, study folklore and language, or, even if we don't study Celtic language, we learn how to pronounce certain Celtic words important to our Druid practice. I often hear that the first modern Druids were very naive when they were incorporating Celtic myths into a new spirituality they called Druidry. Fair enough, but they were also the first to retell the ancient tales which had lain forgotten for many centuries. The world remembered and rediscovered many Celtic myths and legends thanks to the first modern Druids. But the story doesn't end here. As modern Druids, we need to study and tell the stories to pass them on to future generations, to make sure they won't be forgotten, and that the names of the gods and goddesses will be remembered. We should be careful with the genuine Celtic tradition. Celtic reconstructionists have a very good argument against the modern Druids. They say we try to build on or even improve something that we don't completely know or understand. How can we modernize a tradition if we don't know its origins? I agree to some extent. We have to be very careful with the ancient tradition, and we have to study it and distinguish it from the modern one. However, it doesn't mean that the modern tradition has no right to be, yet we should be ready to change it at any time. As modern Druids, we also have our own traditions to take care of. How long do you think we will call a 300-year tradition modern? As Druids, we need to learn the difference between the words genuinely ancient and authentic. As modern Druids, we learn how to receive the Awen, a Welsh word for inspiration, create art, and inspire others. There is much to learn about the Awen, yet it's even more to experience. Our creativity is our magic. This is how we transform ourselves and change the world around us. We shall stand on the shoulders of giants, respecting the legacy, learning from it, yet going further, creating new myths and legends, telling new stories, writing new poems and books, painting and dancing. We don't preach, we inspire and encourage by our own actions, not the words we say. As modern Druids, we love nature, and we seek communion with her. Being in the wild is the ultimate source of our inspiration and healing. It doesn't mean that we all need to sell our apartments and go live in the countryside. If that's what you want, fine. But the world needs cities, towns, villages, and the wild. So, by learning more about the environment, we get a better understanding of our own place on Earth. And we learn how to protect it, to protect the land we live on. I left the topic of magic till the end of our walk, but I have to say that some modern Druids do magic. But this magic is not about casting spells or manipulating reality. The magic of modern Druids is about having certain knowledge and skills to transform themselves. We meditate to find peace in the quiet of the grove and share it. We do rituals to honor and revere spirits, the gods, and the ancestors, and to inspire people. Our Druid magic is basic and mossy and slow, but it's real.
It's now time to finish our walk. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you do as modern Druids. And if you don't consider yourself a Druid, please tell me what comes to your mind when you hear the words Druids and Druidry. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.